This technology post brought to you by Bex.
Pretty good.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the movie Serenity and some of the similarities between some of the dilemmas that the characters face and some of the topics we spoke about in class this semester. So basically, to start off, in the story of Serenity, Earth was basically used up, so they had to go out to other planets, terraform them, and over the course of time, the central planets were kind of taking over, and the outer planets waged a war against them. And at the time of the movie, the central planets had won, and the outer planets are kind of a Wild West area. And this had to do with, in class we spoke about whether or not we thought that space would go more towards a civilized science society or kind of Wild West like exploration happened like 200 years ago. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I really do think that it'll probably be more like the Wild West. I mean, that's how kind of how we do things here already. I can't imagine that we're just gonna up and just think that we're all one species and just go and conquer space for ourselves, you know?
Especially with how the movie goes, with they don't really meet any aliens that would force them to have to unify to protect themselves. Still just a bunch of people that have their own ties to their own communities. So I imagine it'd be more like the Wild West myself, where there's just less unity.
Alright, so after all that happened with the terraforming in the movie, had the Inner Planets created this program called the Alliance. They had a special training program where they used a bunch of different synthetic modification to train this girl named River. They kind of implanted her with a lot of different thoughts, and whenever she'd see a commercial on TV, I mean, that would just make her, you know, just go crazy and start fighting and just turn her into this kind of machine sort of thing. We were kind of thinking that, you know, that could possibly happen. You know, there's a lot of different things that are already kind of out there that, you know, could possibly have that happen.
Right now there's some current studies being done for disabled people to be able to control computers on their own. Say they're completely paralyzed, can't move their arms or anything. Well, there's at least one person I know of that they've implanted some anodes in his brain, and he can move around a mouse, not super precise, but he can still move around a cursor on a screen. So eventually they'll be able to get more precise with that technology. And I know there's probably lots of people out there who would love to get their smartphone somehow implanted in themselves so that they could check their Facebook page while they're doing whatever and nobody would even notice. So, and at some point, if we have all this technology to have our brains interconnected with computers and the internet, let's say that it couldn't have the reverse effect where someone could input some memory into your head or control you, or not necessarily control your impulses directly, but to rewrite your functioning so that you'll do what you want, what they want you to do on your own.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of just has a lot of just terrifying aspects to it. I mean, that's a lot of cyber terrorism. I mean, if you get a whole bunch of people all together and just they're all getting mind controlled by computers, I mean, that's just got a lot of really bad potential. But you know, I mean, it's possible that it could happen. You know, it's I don't know, it's kind of scary.
So the last thing we want to talk about is at some point in the movie they go to a planet called Miranda, which you find was kind of a secret, horrible disaster that the Alliance is trying to hide from the universe. And what happened there was it was supposed to be some grand community in the outer planets, and for a while it was. And the way they were doing it was they had a chemical that they were pumping into the atmosphere that just kind of made people complacent, and just the purpose was to take out aggression from society. But what the crew of Serenity discovered when they got there was that it was working so well that the people just stopped caring about everything and just died where they sat. And
well, and even a bigger problem than that was that part of the population got really bad side effects, and instead of becoming more complacent and less violent, they became extremely agitated and kind of mutated into almost an alien species and just were extremely aggressive. It was just some horrible side effects to some of that technology.
And this kind of goes along with all these emerging technologies. A lot of times there might not be enough trials to be able to get the side effects. In the movie, I think it's like 0.1% of the population had that side effect. So even with trials, some things could slip by, and some side effects might not develop for a long time. And when we're getting into realms of technology that are just so beyond anything we've ever dealt with before, it's something that could really happen. And the idea that our government would put out a chemical into the air or into some supply to help us, maybe without our knowledge or without some people's consent, it's not that far-fetched, because today we have fluoride in our water for our teeth, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people think it's a bad thing.
Could be in our beer right now.
Could be.
I mean,
hopefully this is nice filtered German water. And so the movie raises a lot of good or relevant topics, as all good science fiction should, and it's worth everyone watching. If anyone watches this other than our professor and they haven't watched this, then you should probably go watch that movie.
It's a good movie. So, alright, well, thanks for watching.